So today is August the 11th. In 4 days, coming up this Saturday, we have a derby at the local fairgrounds, Venango County Fair, just outside of Franklin, about a 45-minute drive for us. And this PT Cruiser will get her third run. That is correct, her third run at that derby. So just a quick look here before we start tearing in. Again, the front, both the main drive there as well as the passenger are bent in. They still grab the CV shafts, they still drive. Starter again took just a little damage when the last radiator got busted up. You can see here this got bent, but it's actually made it like more stable the way it is, so I'm not going to do a thing to that. You can see our pulleys are almost pushed into, it's kind of hard to see, it's just on the other side of the pulleys are just clearing. So I've got a little bit of work to do up front. I'm going to try to bend the core back a little bit more flat there. I have the top piece to kind of beat back like I did before. Here you can show, kind of tough to see, but right there's the pulley. It actually scraped a little, never got pushed in, but there's a space there. I'm going to try to make a little more space, but I don't know how much we can make. So here she is, battered and bruised through 2 runs. Second run was a lot better. She got hot. Computer shut it down. So what I'm going to do, I did some research, talked with some buddies, and to show you under the hood. So I've heard a lot about the thermostat as well as about the coolant temperature sensor. And well, my buddy was pretty sure shut me down, I believe was this guy right here. So here's the thermostat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbolt this, take this off, make sure it's cold, which the engine isn't running right now, it doesn't even have the radiator. Take out the thermostat, and I'm going to gut it so it just has the ring, in essence, the gasket in essence part with the guts missing. Now that's going to make a really big hole. Now I'm going to take it to the local hardware store and see if I can get them to make me, or they have bigger gaskets there that have a smaller hole so that the water coming or the flow coming through here, and I put that back in there and bolt this down, isn't too fast. They say that if you just take the thermostat, like the washer part if you will, you gut the middle, it should work fine, but it's better if you can restrict that hole a little bit more. So I'm going to take a look at that, and then this guy, unplug this sensor. I'm going to leave this sensor in because you take this out, which it's kind of tough to see there the way the sun is. There it is. You take this guy out, and of course there's going to be coolant or water spewing out of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to plug in another sensor, which I'm going to take the sensor out of the other PT Cruiser that I recently got. It's a 2007, but 2001 to 10 should be the same parts. I'm going to double check with AutoZone, but it should be the same. I'm going to plug it into this, and I'm going to try to string it up kind of here, show like above, see how far up here I can get it, above the motor, and safely secure it here so it's reading a steady temperature of 70 odd degrees, might get up to 100, but it's not going to get into the 200 or the super hot. So they say that really helps, and that's what my buddy was pretty sure shut me down, as my motor was just shut down by the computer because it was overheating from the radiator being busted out. And I ran a total of 17 minutes, and probably the last 8 minutes at least I was running with a busted radiator, at least leaking, if not any water in it. And then the other thing, this guy here, which was a mistake of mine, the transmission control module, you can see it has some damage, some of the gel's out, it still seems intact. So I'm going to try to carefully unbolt it there and there. I'm going to have to try to get a wrench in there, it's pretty beat up, and carefully move this guy to the inside here, in essence where the battery box was. I might just lay it down flat and secure it there. I say carefully because as you can see it's damaged, so I'm going to kind of duct tape it to try to keep everything together. These wires, excuse me, a little dented or beat up a little, but they still making contact. Car runs, drove it off, drove it in my buddy's yard, drove it back on. So yeah, here is the look before we start diving into it. I'm going to try to take sludge hammer, beat back some of the, pretty much each of the tire wells, except for this one. He's really still good, although that's the one that had the flat tire, the first and second derby. So here she is. We're going to do a little bit of work tonight, a little bit of work tomorrow. We're going to get one more run out of her, see how long we can last, and see if my couple adjustments up to the motor I've never done before with the thermostat and the coolant temperature sensor are successful, and we'll see what we got. So here we go. We're still learning. So we are about to hit the road, heading to our third derby with our 2002 PT Cruiser. Just wanted to quickly show how, excuse me, we put her back together, and we're feeling pretty confident. We've learned some lessons. So we have the transmission control module not on the outside where it can be damaged as it was, but sitting where the battery box was. I spray foam around it, got it pretty well protected. Starter, put some spray foam around the starter, but in particular the wiring kind of right back there. Our thermostat, as well as our coolant temperature sensor. The thermostat I took out and gutted, and the just put back in the gasket. Had it leaking when I put it back in because the gasket was too hard and just busted up. Went to AutoZone, $8. I tried to do some spray on the outside, even some JB Quick. No, I need a new gasket, put it in, it's not leaking. Should be good there. That should allow constant flow through of the water through my radiator to the motor until I lose the radiator, and then, I mean, you're out of water anyways. So here's the coolant temperature sensor I have sitting up here. I have it zip tied, sitting up there in the air. It's secured, so it shouldn't be bouncing around. That should not shut my motor down. Pretty sure that's what it shut down. It shut it down last time, rather. The core support's badly beat up. It's a stock windshield class. You can see here I got a bolt on, got this side of the radiator in. This side here, couldn't get it straight enough to where it would mount here and it would fit here. So there's actually some space here. You can see I have a ratchet strap there, just a cheap one. I'm going to stop and get another cheaper ratchet strap, go right behind it. Bumper is 9-wired and taped. I mean, stock up front, you're soft. That is the one place, I mean, up front, I've just got to protect this part here. You know, even if I take a hit here or there, I mean, it's certainly going to do damage. This, I bent out a little, so I really want to kind of be aware of this side. It's a little bit softer, and the pulleys are right there. So if anything, now I have the control transmission module out of the way. Hitting, if I get in a pinch, you know, this corner is kind of when I want to turn. Don't want them to snap my axle, which is, again, you can see is already bent in. It runs. Fluids are good. Put a can of door lube in it. I've had people swear by it. I've also read online say put a can of a quart rather of door lube in your with your motor oil. Helps the motor run cooler even when it's out of water. So that's something we've done. Just beat out around the fender wells. Beat the shock there, the kind of strut up in as much as I can. It's not rubbing. This tire, I actually can't turn too far to the right. As you can see, it rubs in the transmission there. But just beat up around the tires there. The body's beat and crinkled in. Still have this flat tire, not worried about it at all. On the back, just beat the tire, kind of spare tire rack up there. Here, this was hanging down pretty close, just beat it up in a little. Got to be careful with the stock windshield classes. They don't like you forming it too much on a pre-ran vehicle because it's tougher now. So that tire's still holding. You can see I took some shots here. And again, just clearing the strut there. Beat the front piece up there. Inside, didn't change anything except I made a Band-Aid for my battery box. I need to actually make, using just an old bed frame angle iron, make a battery box that it sets in that I can bolt down. The ratchet strap, I mean, I'm going to put my rubber mat over the ratchet strap whenever I get there. But this, I just want it to help keep it from turning. So I'm going to slide it, tight it up against this. I have it bolted to the ground. It's kind of like a Band-Aid for this derby. The ratchet strap's still doing the heavy lifting. But the last derby, like it just, the bottom shifts a little and then it starts to come loose on the ratchet strap, even though I have it so tight. So that's the only thing I changed inside. She runs, she works. We're going to go to the stock windshield class and see if we can run it till it locks up or run it till we win it. So here we go. Run number 3. We got my L10 up there bolted down. My wife got me that sign made. It looks pretty awesome. Concrete decal. We're ready to go.